Okay, in the last video we talked about our thoughts and our actions and how everyone will have thoughts that are roadblocks or limiting beliefs, and we need to move past the thought and act anyway. So you might have cravings, or you might have thoughts that keep you from wanting to attain your goal, and how you should act against it anyway. I think fear and courage are the best two examples. So even though everyone feels fear, there are people who can step past that and still act in order to get the goal accomplished. So how do we go about making those actions become habits so that we can continually progress? Now, lots of different research about habits. There's lots of different research with everything. That's one of the things with fitness. There's lots of stuff that works, lots of stuff that you can find research to prove just about anything. There's two different studies and two different things I've seen that really talk about habits a lot, and the two time frames that they really have in place are 21 days and 60 days. So rather, depending on which one you want to follow, those are the two that people seem to have in place, is 21 and 60. I'll tell you why I had them both up in a second, but we've talked about habits before and trying to make sure that you've broken your long-term goal into medium-term goals and down into daily habits. So what can we do now in order to make sure that we are consistently doing those daily habits? And one thing is making sure that we're overcoming that mental barrier that we talked about on the other video, so that we are making sure that we're acting. So we need to do that consistently until we start feeling that that is our belief, that is who we are, and it is what we represent. So taking that continual action until it becomes a habit starts to change your self-view. So if you start eating healthy long enough, you start feeling like you're a healthy individual. If you work out long enough, it represents who you are. If you do certain things and certain hobbies, like smoking, and not to pick on smokers or anything like that, but if you obviously you started and there was a point where you were maybe doing it occasionally, and then it became a habit, and then eventually you became a smoker. And that's how things work, is we need to make sure that we ingrain that as a habit and continually take those actions. The way I look at it, though, is if you do something consistently for 21 days and you make it a habit, that will work and you'll want to continue to start doing it. That's my belief anyway, is 21 days is a good guideline of putting practices into place to make them ingrained to where you almost naturally want to continue the process. However, I think it takes closer to the 60 days in order for it to start to define you, and in order for you to start to self-identify as whatever habit it is being a part of your life. So even though everyone keeps talking about doing it for 21 days, and if you look at a 21-day workout program, I think that you'll see results, you'll start to make it a habit, and even that next week, you'll still want to be involved in it. However, if you're not consistent after that 21 days, and you don't keep it in the forefront of your mind until 60 days, and you start to drop off and be inconsistent, that habit won't stay. And it won't be like it's an instilled part of you. If you continue to 60 days, then it's going to be something that's been so consistent and so routine in your life that it starts to become a part of your daily routine and part of your self-identity. You've done it so much that you've probably shared it with many people, and the more people that you share it with, the more people that see you as someone who works out, someone who eats healthy, whatever it may be. So the more that you can consistently be involved in that process, the more it's going to define who you are and your values. So if you can stick with it past the 21 days and keep going to the 60, I think that's a lot better thing to aspire to do instead of just the 21-day habit. I think it will ingrain the process more in who you are and help you be successful. So, and like I said, I know these are kind of odd ways to look at some things and that don't necessarily pertain to lifting weights or eating healthy, but the ideas I think will help you along your journey and help you achieve your goals.